intelligent talk that's sure to raise the IQ.
Here's Guy Wayman, Ben Brunson, and Frank Vernuccio, Inside the News.
Welcome back to Inside the News. Frank Vernuccio, Ben Brunson. My name is Guy Wayman. All right, if you heard the name Razin Caine, you'd say, okay, we're just going to get some things fired up. Well, guess what? There's a guy actually named that. Frank, go.
Yeah, going back to the Obama administration, there was a purge of war fighters in the Pentagon. Now, you might have thought that's what the military was there to do, protect the country, fight our wars, and win those wars. Instead, Obama decided to put in people who were essentially there to promote DEI, to promote Democrat policies, to promote socialist type of policies as well. Trump is doing the exact opposite direction. He's putting war fighters in to the Pentagon in positions of responsibility. John Caine, Razin Caine as well known as that, is a war fighter. He's an F-16 pilot. He is focused on the military, is making it successful in defending the country and winning battles that we get into. That's a foreign concept to many of the bureaucrats in the Pentagon, and it is coming as a bit of a culture shock. It's not going to happen overnight, but the fact is the embedded bureaucrats in the Pentagon who have wasted vast sums of money on programs such as DEI, on programs such as green bullets. Now, there's one that absolutely is insane. Who have said that the first priority of the Pentagon is to fight climate change. They're on their way out. We are facing an absolutely deadly situation. Right now, as we're speaking, China is conducting live fire exercises off the coast of Australia. We are seeing Russia invading Ukraine. We are seeing North Korea firing nuclear missiles towards Japan, not at Japan, but towards Japan. We are in basically December 6, 1941, in terms of our military situation. We need a war-fighting Pentagon, one that is not studying its naval, one that is actually prepared to fight and win wars. That's what people like John Razin Caine are there to do.
Okay, Ben, we want some good recruitments there, and there's some young guys out there, man, some gals too. It's like, yeah, we're going to raise some Caine. We're going to do this thing. Ben, go.
Yeah, Daniel Caine is a war-fighting general. He came to Trump's attention because when Trump had to deal with ISIS in his first term, everyone in Washington told him it's going to take years. And he tells the story of the general who told him we can do it in a week. That was Razin Caine who told him that. And he's been a favorite of Trump. Look, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR, excuse me, I'm tongue-tied today, spent 1940 and 41 preparing for a war that the vast majority of this country did not want to get into, but FDR knew we were going to get into. And he had George Marshall clear out the peacetime dross of generals in the Pentagon, which was just being built, but in the Defense Department, and go find wartime leaders and elevate them. So he went and found an obscure colonel named Dwight David Eisenhower and started to promote him rapidly. He took a famous General George Patton who'd been sidelined between the wars for the most part and started to elevate him. He went and found the admirals like Bull Halsey, who would be the leaders in a wartime situation in the Pacific, and started to elevate those guys. And he cleaned out the guys above them that were not ready to lead in wartime. And that is what Daniel Caine's mission needs to be at the Pentagon, along with Pete Hegseth. We need to get more on a wartime footing. There's a lot we're doing to prepare for it. I'll talk about that in the next segment, but this is reality. And the best way to avoid war with China is to be prepared to fight a war with China. And that's what we have not been under the prior administration.
All right. You talk about getting tough, and the Department of Justice, they're starting to get tough. We got Pam Bondi in there as Attorney General. She leads the whole thing. And then you got the FBI, Kash Patel, just been confirmed. Well, Donald Trump, he appointed now Dan Bongino to be the deputy underneath Kash. I'll tell you what, you talk about the trifecta going in there. Frank, I don't know if any of us would want to face that trio.
Yeah, and they're going to be doing the job that they were actually meant to do. For too long, the FBI and the Department of Justice were focused on basically being a Stasi or a KGB, putting down opponents of the regime. Uh, there's enough real problems in this country with crime, with sedition by Chinese spies and so forth that we really need to address. But no, the FBI and the Department of Justice were simply fighting President Biden's political opponents. And that applied, by the way, as well to state justice departments as well. In New York, there was a state attorney general who campaigned saying her main job as attorney general was to harass and prosecute Donald Trump. We've got a district attorney in the island of Manhattan who basically decided to let criminals go free and prosecute store owners and individuals who simply protected themselves from the onslaught of criminals. We needed a 180-degree turnaround in the attitude of justice officials in the United States. That's what we're getting right now in the DOJ and the FBI.
You know, Ben, when people heard Bongino's going to be added to Kash Patel, you could just see people going, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, I had been wondering if Bongino would have a role in this administration. I was disappointed that his name never came up during the cabinet picks, but now I think he's going to be in the perfect position as deputy director of the FBI. He is like Tom Homan. He doesn't give a damn. It's damn the torpedoes all the way. And that is exactly the type of change agent that is desperately needed in the FBI. It's going to be monumental, earth-shaking events as far as the FBI is concerned. A lot of people are going to get cleared out of there, but it is so desperately needed, as Frank said, to change the FBI from the secret state police it had become, the Stasi, to becoming the world-renowned crime-fighting and terrorist fighting organization that it was at its peak. It has really fallen, and there is heavy lifting to be done to fix the FBI. And I think they've got the team with Kash Patel and Dan Bongino to do just that.
The most competent cabinet we have seen probably in the history of this country. Let's add to that now Kristi Noem with DHS. She's got the Secret Service underneath her, Frank.
Yes, she does. And again, it's going back. It's not so much we're just talking about personalities. We're not talking about political ideologies. We're talking about these departments doing what they were meant to do in the first place. The entire machinery of the federal government under President Obama and President Biden was focused on being the attack dog for the Democratic Party. They ignored their real responsibilities in government and acted simply as an arm of the Democrats. This reversal is something desperately needed. It's not ideological. It's simply going back to the jobs that these people were supposed to do, these departments were supposed to do in the first place.
I'll tell you, this is getting exciting, and we're excited too because, Ben is just chomping on the bit, folks, because the Brunson Files is literally around the corner. Can you give us a 10-second tease of what it's going to be, Ben?
Yeah, we're going to talk about war in the Pacific and what we're doing to prepare for it.
Oh, my goodness. That's going to be fascinating. Stick with us. This is Wayman, Brunson, and Vernuccio Inside the News. Frank Vernuccio with the American Analysis of News and Media. Ben Brunson, he's the author of The Falstaff Enigma and Esther Sling, and he's our resident economist, we like to say. And you can find him at benbrunson.com and amazon.com. My name is Guy Wayman. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Wayman, Brunson, and Vernuccio, Inside the News.